Sit, Tuko. Sit.
Why don't you go sit in your bed, Boo-Boosh?
Okay. Let's pretend he's not here.
Wait, that is breathing.
Hey MisFits, welcome to our channel. I'm Pavi and this is Nami, and we're back again to help you crush unemployment like a boss baby and find your dream career. If this is your first time, what's a nice person like you doing in a channel like this? Obviously all the right things, am I right? So why don't you just go hit subscribe and things will be all better. And if you're a returning viewer, just hit subscribe and we won't look at all.
I know. Today we're going to talk about networking, and not just any type of networking at conferences. Why? Because too many of us go to conferences just to watch panels and discussions and all that stuff, which is good, but the most important part about going to a conference that most people ignore is the valuable connections you can make.
Yep.
And also we're talking about this because I just went to South by Southwest at the beginning of March, and I've not stopped talking about it. But if you don't know what that is, it's this big conference slash film and music festival that happens in Austin every year, and there's a big tech portion of it where all these like entrepreneurs and startup people and influencers and YouTubers just gather, and it's just my jam.
Oh my god, yes. Ever since Nami came back from South by Southwest, that's all she says. Every sentence begins with back when I was in South by Southwest. 1 hour ago when I was at South by Southwest. So, I mean, guys, let's get real. Other than the network panels and discussions that they have, you can find all of that on podcasts and YouTube. But the most important thing is making connections, networking like a boss, and getting those killer contacts, baby.
Yeah. So today we're going to show you some super simple tactics that literally anyone can use. And it's basic stuff like even just how to start a conversation with a stranger.
Yep.
If you want any of these specific scripts about what to actually say, we have all of that in a blog post that's going to come up on our blog, so check the URL below.
Yep. So let's get started.
Yeah.
So this particular tip is for South by Southwest or similar conferences, because I mean you don't have to attend the official event to actually get contacts, because South by is like ridiculously expensive, right? Yeah. And I know Nami didn't really pay for that because we poor. And how did you do? You went online and found places that you could go to, and there were so many people that you met, and so many unofficial events that you went to that were great to make contacts.
And so, okay, if you are going to take this approach, there are a few things that you have to remember and be prepared. Number one, know your purpose. You have to know exactly why you're there, because you need to be able to communicate that to everyone you meet. Number two, get comfortable with crashing the party, because you are going to be going to things where you feel like, I don't belong here in this sea of badge holders, but just freaking walk in there like you own the place, dude. Seriously. Three, don't be shy. Be at least a little shameless. Remember how I said just walk in like you own the place? Don't even worry about it. 4, get out of your comfort zone, because you're going to be wanting to talk to anyone and everyone. 5, ask. This is so important. When you meet people, they need to know how to help you, and they won't know that unless you really communicate it. For example, everyone I met, I told them, I just launched a business, I'm just here to network, I love Austin and the vibe and everything. So then they knew exactly how to help me, so they would send me lists of like events that I could go to which had free food, free booze, all this stuff. Awesome. And then also I was able to connect with people who were in a similar industry, because then they'd be like, oh, what kind of business are you in, blah blah.
So where do you actually find these magical beasts that we speak of? Especially if you're not attending the conference and you have a lot of downtime, how do you maximize on that, right? You go to coffee shops in prime locations. And why? Because coffee? I don't even understand why you're asking me this question. And also because you'll see a lot of conference goers coming in and out, and you might be thinking, what do I ask these lovely beasts? That's a good question. Nami will help you out with that.
Yeah. So if you're already at this coffee shop but you're like, well, how do I actually even like strike up a conversation with people? Tip number 3, let people come to you. This is something that I do very often, where either go sit at a large table or one of those communal tables, especially one with outlets. Why outlets? Because if you feel super awkward about hogging up a big table by yourself, just pretend you're sitting there to charge your phone or your laptop. Another tip, bring your phone or laptop and your charger, so you're not like, oh, there's my phone, can't you see it?
Don't pick up a banana.
I know. Don't Kimmy Schmidt it, okay? And then also that will force other people to come sit there for the same reason if they need to sit and charge their stuff, and then you can go in for the kill.
Yep. So be open to the people that come sit next to you. Don't like just start talking to them. I mean, I don't know who these people are, but still, use your judgment, especially if somebody comes and sits down directly without actually making eye contact or talking to you. Well, that's a good idea not to talk to them because they might be busy or introverted. You never know. But if they do say something like, hey, is a seat taken? You want to go in and be like, oh, it's all yours, or something amazing like that. And if they respond back, you know that they're open to conversation. And you can bring out your inner, easy breezy, open, beautiful self.
Tip number 4. Make conversation not just at your table, but if you're standing in line. And there's lots of lines at conferences. If you're not sure, again, if the person behind you or in front of you is receptive to that, say something to the bartender or the barista because they have to talk to you, and then you can kind of tease out a reaction. And so what I did was, when I was at this coffee shop, the barista was saying something to the person in front of me about, oh, this espresso has flavors of chocolate and hazelnut. Bingo. So then I said, what? Did you just say chocolate, hazelnut and espresso in the same sentence? Because that's my dream come true.
Yes.
And so the guy behind me kind of chuckled and he made a comment, and then I was like, okay, this guy wants to chat.
Got some information.
So then we started talking. He was one of those people who sent me that list of free events to go to, free food, free booze, so winning all over.
So now we're moving away from this coffee shop business and we're actually going to conferences and events. It creates a lot of anxiety. We get it. Going into a crowded room by yourself. One of the things you need to do is tip number 5, which is approach the other lone wolf in the room, right? It's a lot like dating. You want to make sure you make them comfortable too and reduce their anxiety by saying, whoa, I see another lone wolf around here. A good thing to do would be to ask questions like, what's your story? What are you doing here? And please do not start with, what do you do? Because I will ban you.
No.
I will find you and ban you.
And possibly kill you. But no, probably not. Funny story, I actually commiserated with one of those people who was flying solo at a party like me. And so we started chatting.
Like an rap song.
I know. We started chatting and it turned out that he was there to actually promote a party for someone called Marcus Lemonis the next day.
Guess.
I know, I had no idea who he was, but apparently he's some big shot entrepreneur who has some Shark Tank type show. I don't watch TV, but I found out who he was the next day when I went to that party, because then I won a chance to actually talk with him one-on-one about my business. And so talk to strangers, people, always.
Oh my god, not kids. Kids
I know,
don't
not
do it.
kids.
Speaking of being outside your comfort zone, that leads us to tip number 6. Don't be overly selective about who you're going to be talking to at these conferences, because chances are when you go into a crowded room, you tend to get attracted to those people who seem similar to you. Whether they're like women for us or same ethnicity, same age group. But don't do that, because you might really miss out on some really interesting stories from people who are not similar to you. This is not the place for that, guys. Don't do that. No division.
So tip number 7, to go off the previous tip, don't also be overly selective of where you talk to people. So if you're at a big national conference, chances are you're going to run into all sorts of people all over the place who are conference attendees. So whether that's at an airport, on public transport, at a bar or a coffee shop, chat people up in general. Just start being like, hey, I'm going to this conference. Oh, you're going there too? Oh, wow. So true story, I was actually riding on the train to downtown Austin for the first day of the conference, and there was this girl sitting next to me. We started talking. It turned out that she actually worked at a Fortune 100 company as an intern.
What?
And so we had such a nice conversation, and because I mentioned to her that, oh, I'm just here to kind of attend things on the fly and just figure out what I can go to, she was like, hey, why don't you just tag along with us? And so I went with her intern group, got in as a +1 into this completely official event that I had no business being there, but you just never know, honestly.
Tip number 8, and this is sadly overlooked all the time, but please remember people's names.
Yes.
It's super important when you go to conferences or anywhere in life, actually. Don't forget people's names, even if they're like baristas and door people. Give them all the respect that they deserve, because that automatically disarms people. Do it, man. don't be Ron Swanso.
Because those people might actually remember you and they may be the gatekeepers to something and they'll be like, that one person there remembered my name. You can get into this line.
Who called me guy number one? I don't want to be that.
If you're especially bad at remembering names, like I am, think of word association. For example, if you meet a Harry, then automatically think, oh, Harry Potter.
Luckily, we've never met a Harry.
And then if you think of like a Becky, oh, Becky with the good hair.
Yeah.
But
I'm pretty sure most people are not thinking
I know. So if all else fails, as they're handing you their business card, just casually glance at it and be like, oh, okay, that's how you spell it or whatever. And even if it seems like a cop-out, who cares? At least you're taking the time to learn their names and they will always appreciate that.
All this networking is great, but it means nothing if you don't follow up. So make sure you send those people that you met over the conferences a LinkedIn connection request. And when you do that, please do not send a request without a message. No. Do tell them that it was great to meet them at this event or whenever you did meet them. And if you want to refer to them again or you forget where you've seen them, that note will always appear when you glance over their profiles. So that'll help you too.
So that's it, guys. We hope that you found this episode really valuable and we hope that you go and practice all these tips and tricks anywhere you are in life. And of course, if you want some of the specific scripts of what to say, like I said earlier, we're going to put it on our BizLatte website as a blog post. So you can find all of that information below and also check out BizLatte for other useful tips and tricks. We love hearing from you. So get in touch either over email or on social media. All of the links are below in the show notes or also above on our channel banner. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe.
Hit subscribe and
and then we will see you next Tuesday with a brand spanking new episode. Bye.